Alright guys, there's no bets or anything going on for this game. This series, we just hopped into the tail end of it through coincidence, timing, and luck. This is the best of 3 in the quarterfinals. One of these two will go on to fight against Violet in the semifinals, and the winner of that goes on to fight against Polt in the grand finals. So we're shaping up for a really fantastic end of this tournament. Spawning here in the southern location on merry-go-round, though, the purple Terran player from Complexity, QXC. His opponent in the top right, playing for IVD. Oh, let's actually swap those around. There we go. Playing for IVD Gaming, the Pink Zerg player. We just saw him not too long ago in the show match series versus Arium. It is the Pink Zerg phog. I like the phog. Alright, so phog over here, I forget we gave him that nickname during the show match series, is a pretty darn good player. QXC's been renowned for quite some time as being one of the better North American players, the true red-blooded American players, Captain USA and all that, but phog is young, he's up and coming, he's new. He's somebody that QXC may not actually be too aware of. I don't know, maybe they're best friends. I don't know the history between these two, and I don't even know how game 1 and 2 went, but it's tied up now in game 3. So I gotta say, this could go either way. I want to lean more towards phog because I've seen some pretty good ZVT out of him in the past. Protoss always seems to be his weak point, but at the same time for QXC, it's like the first time I haven't seen him 2-racks in a in a long time. It sounds like a joke, but honestly, a lot of the times we'd catch QXC, whether it was the IEM qualifiers, Red Bulls, you name it, game number 3 versus a Zerg player, we would see 2 Raxes come down and a Zerg cry. But he's playing it safe at home on merry-go-round, and he doesn't want to risk being in the wrong location, I suppose. But again, one of the really nice things about this whole tournament, guys, I want to remind you, like, the winners. I think I'm not sure how they choose the top 8, what precisely the thing is about it, but one of the big things is whoever wins this tournament gets invited to Homestory Cup 9. That's cool. It's, you know, it's over in Europe. It might be a hard flight over, but it's worth noting whoever wins the entire thing is there's going to be a big final, like, round of 8 come, I think, day 3 or 4. I'm not sure how they've got it scheduled. One player, though, will win their entire flight, entirely paid for in full, to go to Homestory Cup 9, which I think is pretty cool. So that's really cool that takes offering that. And we'll see who, if any of the North Americans can do it. I think Stork was the one who won the Korean qualifier. Poltz is looking pretty good to win the North American one, but let's not forget, both QXC and Violet have taken him down in the past. Phog, I think, is the only player who's not really been to that level. Not yet, at least. He will get there eventually. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. He's got that first Reaper dance around with the drones on the other side of the map. A couple lanes gonna give chase. Alright, I was gonna say, is he gonna get that freaking leg? It was so low. Hang on one second. I'm resetting for the sound.
First blood.
Nice! Okay, sorry, sometimes it bugs out if I take it off too soon. Anyways, getting a couple links early doesn't seem like a lot, but this is typically like, you know, you're engaging on creep. You're not over-dedicating to the Reaper. So you've still got 5 links to buffer for your queens, but QXC almost kills all of the Zerglings. He's gonna get in the drone line now, and these queens will eventually chase it out, but honestly, this is one of those situations where with 3 Reapers made, he should be able to bully phog. The reason 3 Reapers don't work is because Zerglings are usually there to defend. But as he starts looking to poke in towards these 2 queens, all he has to do is really play tag with them for the time being. Actually, he's poor Zergling. It's like the one last one alive. You go to work at the coal mines. You deal with the plates over there. We don't want your help in the army. But these Reapers are being dual. Ooh, that was actually really smart. I don't know if you guys caught that. Phog was intentionally focusing 2 different ones, so you couldn't pull one back, as that ends up being the case for a lot of the times when you're a Terran player. You know, you just pull the one that's getting low and pull it backwards. The QXC grabbed one, but not the other. So sniping off that one Reaper shuts this down immediately, sends these other 2 packing back home, but that's okay, because there's Hellions to follow it up. This is the classic follow-up we always see in this matchup. You know, Reapers paired with Hellions dealing a ton of damage. Now we do see a command center coming down in the wall as his 3rd CC. This is such an annoying wall to get fully walled off in time to hold against all ends. So by going for the command center, you put a little more HP into the wall. Granted, it's costly and a lot riskier, but you'll also wall off a lot more efficiently quickly. You guys asking a lot about the map intro, sorry, just glancing in chat. I have the names of every song we use, and most of them are copyright clear as well, in the map intros themselves. So just take a look at them. It's usually in the bottom left and the bottom right corner. You'll see it as we play more out throughout the day. But yeah, the map intros are fun. Glad you guys are enjoying them. Helly's coming across the map now. There's 3 queens, though. There's actually 4 queens if you pull the one from the natural. These are not going to get much done more than killing creep tumors, sadly. He might go to put a little bit of pressure on the 3rd, but there's already creep spreading, and normally the problem ends up being that there's not enough creep that the queens take forever to get there, but they are going to have no problem moseying on over. Now, unfortunately, by laying down more creep tumors, he's not going to have transfuse energy available, and this is where phog has to actually be really, really careful. Alright, QXC is actually going to disengage. I was going to say, it's not 6 Hellions, and it's not 8, but with 4 and 2 Reapers, you can still kill a queen, especially if there's no transfuses available. But looking to go for ranged weapon attacks. Phog perhaps going to embrace the Roach Hydra composition that's become so popular lately. Specifically and especially on this map, mind you. Roach Hydra is just, it's so volatile and frustrating to deal with. It could also be a misclick, but with how common Roach Hydra has become, I wouldn't be surprised if that was going to be the case. But Banelings, Zerglings, these are all going to be things that might end up being necessary later on, depending how this plays out. QXC is, in fact, going to go for bio, not mech, so... Again, Roaches and Hydras, they're good on mass, but in lower numbers, they're not so good at dealing with bio that's going to have, especially medevac support. It's funny, you look at Roach Hydra, and you look at some of the players that lose to Roach Hydra, like Jockshi, for example, was last to it fast. It's a strategy that's meant to really just deal a ton of damage. So what Terran players do is they put a bunch of tanks, and sometimes tanks work, sometimes they don't. But the only definitive way I've seen someone like hold off Roach Hydra with huge success is with just a stupid amount of medevacs. It sounds silly to say, but Hydra's DPS, it's fast, but it doesn't hit as hard as you think. And medevacs can certainly help buffer that damage quite significantly. Worth noting, phog did lose a queen while that was going on, a little bit unnecessarily. Could have pulled that back. Sad to see. But QC going to expand to take his 3rd. Fortunately, there's creep coming down here. So the Overlord has to be cleaned up first, and this is going to probably take another good, I'd say, 20-ish in-game seconds. Hang on, let's see that. 55, so we'll see if it's a 15. It finally clears up. Creep takes forever. But Zerglings will keep this from going down, actually. Going to stim and try and kite a little bit, but these are Speedlings. They managed to save 2 Marines running into the Hellions, I guess, so he's got that much going for him. Okay, so a little more than 15. 25? No, not even 25. Like 30? Dude, creep spread is so dumb. Sorry. This is, of course, coming from the voice of a Terran player. It's so frustrating how long it takes to clean up. But Roach is coming through the middle of the map. Unfortunately, they can deal with this force. QC sees this with that scan. Just hoping to get a couple more creep tubers out. But oh god, you know what? He's going bio, which I said is going to deal with Roaches fantastically, but he doesn't actually have a lot of bio to deal with the Roaches fantastically. So desperately putting down about 4 bunkers. He's trying to kite the Roaches around, but these will not finish in time, and phog's going to hit at a timing where QXC is just really not prepared for this. Evacuating back to the natural is probably going to be the best course of action. Yeah, he's going to lose a couple SCVs on the way, but this is way better than losing everything at that 3rd. The depots need to raise. Unfortunately, realizing that's the case, he's going to sacrifice a couple of these SCVs. Bunkers loaded up, but he needs to pull the SCVs to repair this. QXC falling apart to what shouldn't be a build that breaks him. This wasn't intended to be an all-in out of phog, but he's going to probably make it into one after this because he gets in here and does a ton of damage. Again, the bio count was just a little too low at the start of this, and I think QXC should be able to hold eventually, but again, he's got to evacuate the natural. He just gave up the 3rd, giving up more and more ground. Oh, he's going to yield the main as well. This is not looking good for our Terran player. Production has been compromised. There's some Marauders in the back and a couple of Marines stimming in, but the SCVs have got to be pulled. There's just no way to fight this. The Roach count is too big, and we see more and more funneling in. Depots are down. The bunkers are canceled. He needs money. He needs money. He has no mining. He's got to salvage what he can, but he doesn't. Good game is called, and it's not going to be QXC, but phog who advances to the semifinals to fight against Violet.